This is Cesar911.
And this is Dr. Orion 101, reviewing the good and the bad in Cesar911.
He's kind of going crazy the whole time. Like he barks incessantly.
And what does mom do?
Tries to calm him. It's okay, stop barking, it's okay. Well, she told me recently, Buddy's like a small child, so she wants to comfort him. And I said, well, if I walked into my house and my child started screaming at me and yelling at me, I wouldn't comfort him. He would get in trouble.
That's a problematic statement. If a stranger that your son thinks is a robber walks into your house and your child starts screaming, would you comfort him or would he get in trouble for that too?
He's basically really scared, trying to protect himself.
Right. Oh, that's good. How do you know that?
Because he always backs away when I come towards him.
Good observation.
I'm just used to it because he does it every single time I come in.
This kid should also have a TV show. He already knows that the dog is barking because he's afraid. He also knows that the dog is always backing away from him and not trying to harm him.
Take your time. Take your time.
Mason, I'll hold him. I'll hold him. I'll put him on the couch. Come on.
He's stepping.
Quiet.
Hold it! Why is this mother comforting her fearful son? I know he's not screaming at her, but he's not getting into the grandmother's house. That means he's disobeying her, right? No, the kid is afraid, exactly like the dog is. So, comforting both of them is not necessarily a bad thing.
My daughter had suggested that I come out to California.
Hi, Grandma.
Hey, guys.
And this way I could be near her and her family and get to know my grandson better.
I'll be right down. Let me put him upstairs.
I think right now Mason loves his grandma, but she's got this crazy dog.
OMG! Did you see what I just saw? The daughter and the grandson were already in the house, sitting down. The dog and his caretaker walked in. The dog didn't freak out, and she calmly led him up to where he is away from the kid and his mother. This is a giant part of what I tell many of my clients to do if they have a fearful or even a territorial dog. Have the guest in the house first, sitting down calmly, not staring or trying to interact with the entering dog. Then just let your dog relax away from them in a safe place.
Buddy seems to be afraid of just about everything.
I have neighbors that have pit bulls.
And Buddy would see them and start barking, and snarling, and pulling at the leash. I'm afraid one day he might pull me down. It's kind of scary for me. But to a child, something that loud with teeth showing and spit flying is terrifying.
We keep circling back to the fact that her dog is fearful. This is important for the treatment. She also mentions that she's afraid he will knock her down. The dog has a face halter that, if used correctly, might give more control over the situation and help you avoid or de-escalate the situation. But if you don't know how to use it, it is going to be ineffective. Also, using a retractable leash is never a good thing. Not with a small dog and definitely not with a big pulling dog. She needs a normal, sturdy leash.
Come on in. You know he won't hurt you. Come on.
Did you see that? He backed away exactly like the kid said before. He didn't try to lunge at the kid. But it's actually not a smart thing to do. If you have a dog that's barking and you know is afraid, don't take the risk of him biting someone. Safety first. Many of the dog attacks are by familiar dogs and towards kids, especially because people underestimate the danger.
His comfort zone is so small. I want him to have a quality of life that I'm sure he doesn't have now.
It's all right, buddy. It's okay, baby.
We want both the dog and the owner to have a good quality of life. You can see how fearful the dog is and how sad the owner is.
Now, this is what happened. I want to walk you through it. So we put a leash on a dog, right? That puts a dog in a different state of mind. Why? Because now the dog feels that the human has some kind of control.
The human has some kind of control. Is that a good thing? If the human has control, it means that the dog doesn't. Feeling you have no control can make you feel even more anxious. Also, many dogs on leash are actually more aggressive than when off leash. So this technique can backfire and is not recommended.
No, don't give affection. So if you give affection, you nurture that. When grandma gives affection to Buddy when he's growling, that just makes him growl more.
No. Fear is not reinforced by affection. If a person is afraid and you're telling him that everything is going to be okay, you're not making them more afraid. This is exactly counter-conditioning. Taking a stressful situation and making it associated with something good.
Alisa is right. No one can feel comfortable entering grandma's house with Buddy in this state. It could be just fear, or him feeling that he has to protect Leslie.
So Cesar also thinks that fear is an option that can explain his behavior.
If he goes on the couch, what he's doing is the equivalent of him finding a bed and goes under. Now, this dog is more afraid than anything else. Buddy uses the couch to hide. It's his safe place. So when he jumped up there when it was a knock on the door, I knew that he was a fearful dog that acts out because he's afraid.
Okay, we finally agree. The dog is afraid and the couch is his safe place.
He's just using it as a hiding place. So I don't mind for him to go on the couch, but I'm gonna tell him when to go on the couch. So here.
Why? Why prevent him from going on his safe place when he's afraid? Why force him to be afraid even more? Why?
This is an exercise, by the way. This is huge for this guy to not choose fear.
Not choose fear. Let me call all of my PTSD friends and tell them, don't choose fear. I'm sure they're all going to say, I never thought about it before. Why did I always choose fear?
Can we do it again? Can we knock on the door again?
Do you want me to go out?
No, from there.
The dog is barking the second he hears the knock. That's because he's already expecting the knock to predict a stranger entering the house. By the way, this is the case with many other normal dogs.
When he did that, I snapped him out of it with a correction and he calmed down. And after every knock, the dog got calmer and calmer until Buddy was totally relaxed. And relaxed.
Correction, punishment. Relaxed, anxious, and maybe not barking because afraid of being punished, meaning an unpredictable dog.
Now Cesar wants Leslie to learn how to prevent Buddy's aggressive barking when there is a knock at the door.
The way to stop the barking as a response to the knock is to change how the dog feels. Maybe recording the knock and playing it at a very low volume and then gradually increasing the volume over several sessions while also giving him some treats.
Leslie eventually calmed Buddy with the correction, but she's still very emotional around him.
That's a good boy. Come on.
Her instinct is to cuddle him when he's afraid, and that has to change. What you're trying to do is to ask him to calm down.
He's afraid, and I want to comfort him.
No need to change this. You can comfort him, but there are other things you can do that do not include punishment. Avoiding the triggers, counter-conditioning, desensitization, response substitution, and in some situations, even anti-anxiety medications. Check out the link to the entire episode of Cesar911 in the description. Also, check out this reaction video on another one of Cesar's videos.